So let us now prepare for this service in mind, body, and spirit for our service today. Today's reading, Revealing Your Extraordinary Essence. This first part is by Ernest Holmes. The greatest gift that life could have made to you is yourself. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life, in the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of eternal expansion. You could not ask for more, and more could not have been given. There is a winner in you. There is something in you that is unstoppable and unbeatable. There is something in you that is stuff heroes are made of. There is something in you that is lovable and loving, joyous and expansive. Wow, if you knew that, you would look at every situation as an opportunity to show your winner self to the world. You would walk with confidence, dare to risk, speak with authority, and step out into the world each day, knowing that you are designed and destined to win. So if you can just now take these words into that inner sanctuary for a few moments. So how good it is to just show up right here, right now as spirit, as the love and the light that you are right in this room, right in this power that you stand in. You stand in the power of God. You bring forth in this moment that divine power within you, that divine light, that divine joy. And we feel that vibration from each and every one of the people that come through these doors on an everyday basis, of that love that emanates from us, through us, and around us. That there is absolutely no way to be separate from that divinity that lives and breathes within you. There is absolutely no way that you can't show up in your own life, to have that divine guidance and wisdom in every step that you are taking, because I know that there is absolute transformation that is occurring in this room. And I know that God is orchestrating absolutely every single person's divine appointment that is here today. And so I know that that same power, that same light, that same joy is operating through us, as us, and around us in this service, that it is absolutely created out of love. It's inspired by the light that is within us. It is that joy that is so palpable that we feel that, and we feel all of that light that moves in this room. And so I know that for Rev Cynthia James, I know that there's divine guidance and wisdom, that her light is shining, and that it is gleaming out there, and the rest of us are feeling those words of God. And so I know that everything is being orchestrated with God, with the music ministry, with the children's church, with absolutely everything that is done today. It is done out of that love, and we stand in that truth. And I say, thank you, God, and so it is. So it is.
So, I just want to take a moment to introduce you to an extraordinary woman that I got to know when I volunteered to be the area Vision Corps coordinator for our former parent organization, and I got to go out and do some training with Rev Cynthia James at Mile High. She is, she's an extraordinary speaker, musician, actress. She used to be an actress. Now she's the real, all the real deal. She lives in the mountains near Denver, Colorado, and for the past 11 years, is it 11? 11 years, she's been an associate minister at Mile High Church, which is our largest center for spiritual living there in Denver. The thing that I know most about her is that she is a true visionary and lives through vision. And she was the Vision Corps coordinator for our former parent organization. We used to be United, and now we're just Centers for Spiritual Living. Her bio is truly amazing, but what's really more amazing is who she is. She is a spiritual Jedi master. That's what she is. That's the way I think of her. She is filled with love and filled with grace and filled with elegance and power. And you're going to just love hearing her speak. She did some transformational work here this weekend with I think there were 6 of us here from this center and people from as far away as Detroit and Louisville were here. So it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. But you now get to experience the extraordinary Rev Cynthia James. Help me welcome her, please.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm really honored to be here because this is what I know. When a minister invites you into their pulpit, they're giving you a sign of trust with their family. And so thank you, Cece. And happy Mother's Day. How many of you are mothers through birth, surrogate, or just happen to be hanging out with some children that you supported? Yes. So me too. I have 2 sons that I adopted, a stepson, a foster daughter, and some other people who follow me around. And I'm really grateful because I really feel like my children have been my teachers. I mean, on an extraordinary level. And isn't it what we all want for our children, whether they're ours or whether they're other children that we see in the world? Don't we want them to express fully, to be dynamic and powerful and awe-inspired? And don't we really want them to reveal their extraordinary essence? And that's my topic today, revealing your extraordinary essence. Because the thing that I know is that there is something in each of us that is crying to express. I want to read to you from my book, Revealing Your Extraordinary Essence, just a little excerpt. The words to come to mind when I think of being extraordinary are exceptional, uncommon, unusual, impressive, remarkable, and unexpected. From my point of view, every person on this planet has the ability to express and radiate these qualities. I cannot see any reason that a person will be born to be ordinary, common, unimpressive, or uninteresting. How could that be? If a person is filled with potential and infinite possibilities, there must be a delivery system or systems to fully express the gifts encoded in our consciousness. I am aware of the unspoken belief that some people are better than others or have come here to be spectacular beings, and I don't agree. The people we place on pedestals are simply the people who remember that they have an extraordinary essence. The dictionary says that to be extraordinary is to be unusual or outside of being regular. The word comes from the Latin, which is extraordinarius, which means beyond what is ordinary. How many of you know you're bigger, better, more powerful than you're living in this moment? Oh, only a few of you? Okay, I'll just talk to you people. I'm just kidding. So here's the thing. I think we all know that. Gene Houston says that inside of us, there is a coding, an encoded nature that lets us know how powerful, how transformative. And then we grow up in these environments and we have these experiences that stop us from understanding that. So there's this poem and it says, dance like no one's watching. Love like you've never been hurt. Sing like no one can hear you. Live like heaven is on earth. And those 4 things are what I want to talk to you about today. I was born to dance. I love dancing. You know, I would watch Fred Astaire and Ginger and Sid Charisse and Gene Kelly, right? How many of you watch Dancing with the Stars? Me too. Love Derek Huff, I'm just saying. So what I love about dancers is that every part of them wants to express. And they just bring it into the space. And what I love about Dancing with the Stars is that these pros get with these celebrities who get to experience stretching the boundaries, moving beyond what they think they can possibly do, right? So this year, you know, Derek Huff has won a few times and he's turned some amazing people into winners, right? So this year he's with Amy Purdy. At 19 years old, she gets meningitis and both her legs get amputated. This year, at the Paralympics, she became a bronze medalist in snowboarding. Now she's on Dancing with the Stars, dancing with prosthetics. Wow. Amazing, right? I mean, she's blowing people away. The judges can't believe what she's doing because it's impossible, right? And the reason that it's impossible is that that's what they think, but that's not where she's living. She's like, this is just an experience. These prosthetics and what I'm going through and what I've been through have no limitations. I can prove that by my being. And that's what I want you to know. You can prove that by your being. There's nothing in the way. There's no limitation for you. Now, this will come as a surprise to you because I'm black. Because, you know, we're all supposed to be able to dance. Right? And, here I just told you I love to dance, right? So, but I'm a kid. And, you know, we'd be down in the basement, we'd be having these parties, right? And I would want to dance, but I would lose the beat. And that, you know, that's embarrassing, right? That's really, and then the more I would lose the beat, the more I would look at the people looking at me, and then the more self-conscious I would become. What I learned later was that not that I couldn't dance, it's that my mind would stop me from being in the flow. And so the thing that I loved the most, I couldn't do because I convinced myself I couldn't do it. How you doing with that? Right? How you doing with the things that you love, that you want to express, that you want to fulfill in this life, and you talk yourself out of it, or you let somebody else talk you out of it? You know, you have a great idea and then somebody says, well, you know, that's never going to work. How are you going to do that? And then you start questioning yourself. So when I was 27 years old, I decided to go to dance class. I decided, okay, maybe it's true I can't keep the beat, or maybe it's not. And what I learned is that I love to move this body. And I love to express. And what I learned in those dance classes is that I had to love me. And I want to say that to you about love like you've never been hurt. How many of you have had some experiences in love that kind of broke your heart? Yeah. So what I want you to know is give thanks. Every single one of those experiences was something that brought you to the grand design that you are today. Because you're here to do fabulous things. You're here to be expressive and expansive. And those experiences, whether you know it or not, you called in for your growth. Isn't that great? Well, and here's the thing. I know some of you are going, what is she talking about? When they left me for Mary Sue down the street, or when they robbed my bank account, or when they did all that stuff, you know, I did not call that it. Sure you did. This is your soul journey. This is what you said. I'm coming here to learn, to grow. You are in a graduate school of life. And so when you're in graduate school, you know things can be tough, right? Sue Morter says that before we come to the planet, we meet at the bus stop on the other side of the veil. And we make decisions. Okay, I'm gonna meet you in 1972. And then you're gonna break my heart, and then I'm gonna grow from it. Okay? So, I told you that I've got 2 sons that I adopted. My youngest son is an extraordinary being. And until I adopted him, when we got him, he was about 7. We were in love until he was 15. And then I became the mother from the Black Lagoon. I couldn't say anything right. I couldn't do anything right. And he started acting out in unbelievable ways. And I think he was probably about 16 when he did something that was highly inappropriate. And I'd love to tell you that I was enlightened. But I'm sure I was screaming louder than he was. And he was slamming doors, and I was going through my stuff. And I woke up enough to go, perhaps I should get some help. So I picked up the phone, and I called my friend who lived around the corner, who's a practitioner. Michael Beckwith was my minister at the time and happened to be at this practitioner's house. So the 2 men came around to my house. My friend went into the room with my son, and Michael Beckwith is with me. And I'm ranting and I'm raving, and I'm like, this is what he's done, and look what I've done for him. And he just sits there really quietly. And then he says, "Who is your son?" I'm like, "What? He's in the bedroom." He goes, No. "Who is your son? Tell me the God qualities of your son." I said, "Well, he's generous, he's creative, he's loving, he really tries hard." And I had a few other things, and he said, "Do you have a 3x5 card?" I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Would you write those qualities on the card? And would you put Sharon's name at the top?" I said, "Okay, why am I doing this?" He said, "Because you're going to read this card every day." He said, "Your son in this moment cannot hear it in the world of effects, but his soul can hear it. And you need to remember who your son is, because in this moment he can't." I want you to know that I read that card many, many days for 10 years while he acted out in unbelievable ways. He hit rock bottom, and something changed. And through that, he did stuff that was hurtful to me, to his brother, to his friends. He was out of control. And what we found out is that there was a chemical imbalance that we didn't know about. But what was incredible is today, he's a chef. He has a loving wife and children. And he is operating on a much different level. And what I learned through that is that I had to love him past my own hurts, past my own judgments, past my own fears and doubts. And I had to keep my attention on the card of truth. That's what I want you to know, is that you're called in every moment to stand in the truth of who you are and what you know beyond the appearances, beyond the circumstances, beyond those interesting things that people have done and are doing. You're to stand in that truth. And that doesn't mean let them walk all over you and be a doormat. Because I think there's something really powerful about standing in the truth of who you are and finding your own voice. And one of the things that supported my son is that the family decided to stop enabling him, to stop allowing him to use us for his own interesting ways of being. So love like you've never been hurt. Because here's the thing, Ernest Holmes says that in this thing called you. There's a center of your being that's never been hurt, harmed, or endangered. And your job is to understand it, to know it, to express it. Love like you've never been hurt. Then you get to sing like no one can hear you. I know some of you sing like crazy in the shower, right? One of my sons used to sing Lollipop while he was in the shower. I'm like, where did you hear that song, right? The thing about singing is that it's an expression. I mean, we sit out there and we enjoy what happens up here. We go to concerts, we have CDs, and we listen to that music. But the thing is, we all have been given a powerful, unique voice that we're to express. I had a grandmother who was amazing. She saw me in ways I could never have imagined. From the time I was little, she said, "Oh, you're going to do great things. I see you on a mountaintop." I mean, little did she know I'd end up in Denver. But she would always tell me that, and she would always take me. She took me to my first theater. She took me to see healers and teachers, and she took me to, have you all heard of Mahalia Jackson? Oh, yeah. Yes, right? Contralto voice, amazing. She was called the Queen of Gospel. And my grandmother took her, and she says, "I want you to see this woman." She says, "Because she's modeling who you are going to become." And I'm like, what is she talking about, right? Mahalia Jackson was amazing, just powerful being. And I want to tell you about her story because her story defies where she went to. She was born in Louisiana, and she lived in a 3-room apartment with 13 people. Oh, and a dog. Her mother's name was Charity, and she died. And her name was Mahala at that point. Mahala and her brother were given to Aunt Duke. Aunt Duke was deep. She was mean. She was controlling. And she would have Mahala and her brother work for her from the time they got up in the morning till nighttime. And if the house wasn't clean, and the way that she knew that is she would put on a white glove and go through the house, and if there was any dirt on her white glove, she would beat Mahala. So at 16 years old, Mahala said, "I'm out of here." And she migrates to Chicago, which was happening at that time, and she starts singing in a church. And her voice is so astounding that she starts singing in churches all over the city, and all of a sudden, she gets this record contract. She did like 30 albums, and 45 of her records became gold. She married a man named Ike, who was had graduated from college and did all these things, but he was a gambler, and he wanted to use her to make money, and he wanted her to sing secular music, and she was like, no, I'm just singing for God, and that's what I'm going to do. And it ended up stopping their marriage. Somewhere in the middle of that, she changed her name to Mahalia. But what I want you to know that was so awesome about her was she was very clear about who she was and who she came here to be, and was not going to allow anything or anyone to take her off track. What I want you to know is that you know who you come here to be. You are not confused. You know you came to stand. You know you came to sing your song, whether it's painting or writing or speaking or teaching or working with people. You know. So the question becomes, why would you allow anything or anyone to stop you from singing your song? Why wouldn't you take a stand for who you are and who you come here to be and express it, even though you're afraid? You know, if you're not afraid, the dream's not big enough. Amen. So I was doing this, thank you, Cece. So I was doing this talk at Mile High, and there was a woman that had been in my class. And whenever she would be in church and there'd be music, she'd be up on her feet and she'd be dancing. And she was always talking about how she loved to dance, and when she was in her living room, she was just dancing away. And I said, "Wow, well, why aren't you dancing?" She goes, "Oh, I'm not in front of people." So I was getting ready to do this talk, and I said to her, "I really would love for you to come and dance in this part of my talk." She was like, "In front of all those people?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Don't you love to dance?" "Yeah, love to dance." "Don't you want to express?" "Yeah, love it, love it." I said, "Then why not say yes?" So she said yes, but this is what I want you to know about her process. While we're in rehearsals, she's a mess. She She forgets what she's supposed to do. She forgets where she's supposed to come in. And it was all fear. Because when nobody was like watching and trying to get her to fit in the system, she's dancing away. And I said to her, listen, when you don't bring your gifts, you deprive everyone of your reason for being. So here comes the day, and she's standing backstage and she's wringing her hands, and I said, dance. She walked out there, y'all, 3 services, 2,000 people, blew everybody away. And what she said afterwards, that she learned that she was here to express, and she had to stop being afraid and step forward anyhow. You're here to sing your song. You're here to live as though heaven is on earth. One of the things I love about this philosophy is that we don't believe in heaven and hell. You know, they're not places. They're states of consciousness, right? You know, there's no little devil running around with a fork making you do stuff. And there's no dude up there with a white beard, you know, opening the gate so you can get in. You get to live it now. So if you're not living the life you love, there's something in your consciousness that's creating that state of hell here on earth. You can also create that state living right here on earth as a state of heaven. There's a minister in our movement named Reverend Lloyd Barrett. And a few years ago, he got very ill. And he had E. coli, and they thought he was going to die. And we would go see him, and every time I would walk in his room, he's praying, and he's happy, even though, I mean, sometimes he's like, got, barely any energy. And so I said to him, how do you do that? I said, it's just so beautiful to be in your presence. And this is what he said: I will have no war in my mind. I will have no war in my mind. What I want you to know is that any discomfort you're feeling is because you're thinking it. Because you're attached to some energy. So I take people on these pilgrimages, and I take them to different parts of the world, and I go to France every couple of years, and we meditate and do stuff. And 2 years ago, I took a group to Chartres, and they have the largest indoor labyrinth in the world, and it's just incredible. And so we were there, and I always take them in September when they have this festival of lights, and there's all this stuff that goes on that's incredible. And they have this green area, this huge green area, and they cut up millions of pieces of white paper and make a little snow fest, like there is snow, right? And people go in there, kids, adults, old people, young people, and they throw snow, paper snowballs, and they play and they roll around. It's just great. So we're in there, we're playing, and one of the women on the trip says to me, Rev Cynthia, I can't find my phone. I'm like, in millions of pieces of paper and people everywhere. So we muscle test, and it's like, no, it's not lost. So we get in there and we're doing this. We're looking, no phone. But I'm watching, her name is Linda, and she says, well, you know what? It's just a phone. It'll be fine, and I don't want to ruin the night. So let's go do some of the rides, and let's go. I was like, okay. So we walk out, and we're walking down 5 minutes away. One of the other women that's with us, her phone rings. It's her daughter from Chicago, saying, Mom, did Linda lose her phone? She goes, yes. How did you know I was with Linda? She goes, I don't know. I just thought I should call you. She says, well, there's somebody who's found it. And they want you to call this number. She says, okay. So we call the number. The people are 3 minutes from where we are. We walk there. And as we walk up, there's a little girl about this girl. She looks at my husband and she goes, it's you! I'm like, what? He goes, oh, wow. That's the little girl. I took her picture in the snowfield and told her I was going to send it to her. She's the one who found the phone. Synchronicity, So this is what was incredible, though. So Linda was happy that that they found the phone, but her energy did not change. From saying it's just a phone to, oh boy, here's the phone. And isn't that lovely that Kathy happened to be with us? You know, can you keep the same level of consciousness no matter where you are, no matter what's happening? Can you create heaven on earth just by where you're living and what you're thinking and how you're showing up? It's possible. I want you to know that you're blessed. You've been blessed. You know, God loved you so much, it breathed its breath into you, created you on this planet because you're essential and we need you. Without your presence, there would be a hole. So you have an opportunity from this day forward to celebrate. You know, you got a mother who loves you, even though she could be a pain sometimes. That was a joke. You know, you're a mother that sometimes your children don't understand and you don't understand. But you're here by divine appointment. You're here to dance. You're here to love. You're here to sing. You're here to create heaven on earth. This amazing community here, you get to grow and use this place as a laboratory of your life and then take it out into the world and create extraordinary experiences to reveal your essence, your extraordinary essence. So I'm going to ask you in this moment to just move into your heart, to just gently close your eyes. And to just give thanks for your gifts. Give thanks for the life that you've been given. Give thanks for your mother, for the women who mothered you, for this amazing community and for the ways in which you've shown up here. We just move into prayer. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. So in this moment, we stand in the awareness that there is an infinite presence, a living God, an intelligence of joy and freedom and peace and harmony, a spirit that moves and has its way in, as, around, and through everything. And I know it's my life. I know it's the life of every person here. I know it is the life of everything beyond appearances, beyond circumstances, beyond events. It is the truth of who we are. There is nothing opposing God ever, and so we just give thanks that there is nothing opposing us. We stand in the awareness that right here, we dare to live that extraordinary life. We dare to reveal the truth of our lives in powerful, manifest ways. Celebrating, declaring, claiming who we are and who we've come here to be. It is powerful and it is power-filled. We will sing, we will dance, we will create heaven on earth simply because we exist and we are willing to stand in that truth. Oh, it is glorious. It is powerful. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. 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 God and say Amen. So it is. So I'm going to ask the ushers to come forward. I asked Cece if I could invite you into the offering, because I just want you to know that your offering here does great things. Because this community serves internally and it serves externally. It supports hearts. It pays for all the things that you enjoy, seen and unseen. So as you are giving to this community, you are giving to a vision, a powerful light-filled vision. So I invite you to just take out your offerings. If you feel comfortable, place it over your heart as a blessing. The heart is intelligent. And repeat with me, please. Gratefully I give. With an attitude of abundance. I know that as I give, so do I receive. And so it is.